All right, live on the platforms on Easter Sunday.
All right.
I was realizing today is that some place needs to have like to-go ham.
To go ham?
Yeah, just slices of ham. I could just get some. I gotta have some ham today for Easter Sunday.
What about like deviled eggs too, with a side of deviled eggs?
I just go hard boiled. I'll skip all the rest of the extra there. Just salt and pepper, hard boiled. I'll be just fine and all that. But
well, yes, it is Easter, but that doesn't stop us. We are here. We are going to show you. It's kind of like an Easter egg hunt, but we're going to show you where all the cool stuff is, and you get to decide which ones you want to keep. We are talking about comic books that are coming out in the future, which means the good news for you is that you can buy to your heart's content. You can add how many or whatever you want. Everything in here is theoretically going to be delivered pristine and not damaged, and everything will be great. So
yeah, let's not show them too much behind the camera, the curtain back there.
But
the big advantage here is that we may look at a book and they may have 7 variants for it, and we may pick 5 for the rack.
Right.
We didn't mean to leave somebody out. We've got limited space. We just pick with what we know, what we feel is really solid to go. Mm-hmm. But if we left yours on the outside, it don't matter today because you can get your own copy. There's been plenty of times we've ordered in just one copy for the person that asked for it and
Absolutely.
Put the pre-order in. So
it's one of my favorite things to do. I know that when you look at Keith and I, you automatically assume that we're just rich and we can buy every single comic that every distribution center puts out. But believe it or not, we're actually quite poor, and we only buy what we can for the shop that we believe will sell. So if you think you know better about your own purchasing history, and I hope you would, pick up everything you want and see that we're going to mention up here. The first step there is to follow along with us, and you can do that from iwantmorecomics.com and by clicking into the banner and looking at final orders due. When you click that, it will take you right to the page that Keith and I are looking at.
Yep, get you right there. And you can be ahead of this. You can be safe and secure and know that the first copies coming in go to you, and we don't have to worry about what was left over on the Wednesday. So
so we have a few big releases this final orders due, and a lot of independent number ones that I think are going to be hidden behind those big releases, and a few things I think nobody should miss out on, especially if you're really interested in it. The unique thing here is it really feels like almost every publisher has a new number one on today's show, which is wild to me.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is actually a lighter number. Like I'm looking at the number of 338 items on here, but it is way more spread out. So
yeah, it's everywhere.
Let's race.
Yes, so let's begin. We will start with Archie Comics Publications, which is our first one. It has a number one special. It's the 85th anniversary presents Archie Game Galaxy number one. I'm bringing it to attention not just for the Archie fans, but for gaming fans in general. There's a lot of really cool homage covers that I think people will be interested in, more so than even your average Archie fan. I think this bleeds into other genres, and most likely you will not want to miss.
Slightly popular covers like this that hit cross fan bases and all this are always seen, kind of like after the fact. So this is the time to grab in. But having a Super Mario Galaxy homage there and a Mega Man homage, pretty good. So if it's your flavor, get on there. That Super Mario Galaxy one is a foil edition, and I will point out that the 4th book here on Archie is a foil for an upcoming movie Mania. It's a different title, but they're putting the foil out early to get it printed in time, and we'll see the rest of the covers on a future day.
Excellent. We'll jump over to Boom Entertainment, and we're going to be talking about Berserker.
Where did I lose it? Oh, because there's for some reason I have one of them that's got an exclamation point and one that doesn't. I got to go fix that.
Interesting. So Berserker, Light Draws Breath, number one. This is In the series of Berserker, which takes place in many different times, our immortal action man Keanu Reeves is out causing chaos in the Bronze Age for this issue. Those that were purchasing Berserker are going to be tied to it. But if you are someone that's interested, because they do take a lot of time off, now is the time to pick one up. There are cool variants galore on this one, and if I were to look at one, if just to give it a little bit of highlight, the one where he's riding a cat, I think is epic.
So here's the thing: like, if you're going to be out in the wild and you have like a wild cat, that's one thing. But this certainly looks like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that they might have been trying to go for He-Man here, but it really looks like just him tiny on a big cat, which is hilarious to me.
I mean, he's almost the rats are almost as big as him, so I'm thinking it's wild. It's wild.
All right, and then we will move over to Dark Horse with 2 new number 1s.
Okay.
We have a Young Hellboy Thrilling Sky Adventures. Young Hellboy has the face of an all ages thing, but it still maintains all of your Hellboy fun and craziness, so don't be fooled. This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries of the new run from Mike Mignola and Thomas Nagoski.
So Young Hellboy has happened before. It is told, tales like this, obviously, tales from the past kind of idea, but well done. Mignola's still at the helm, so you're getting all of that there, and pretty good variants there and all this.
I did like the variant,
yeah. So good fun to be had there. And I will say this: if you're interested in it, you don't see Hellboy blanks very often. So,
and blanks are not huge, like stuff we bring in. We don't bring in a ton, so this is definitely one to grab up.
Typically on this one, I will not be stocking the blank on the rack. If you want it, you raise your hand now.
That's exactly right. From there, we have Hidden Springs number 1 by Rob Williams and Nil Vendrell. This is got a really interesting premise that I think leans itself to either TV or film as well. It's basically a retirement community, and a bunch of ex-Hollywood actors actually encounter a baby kaiju that's running for its life. And I think that is just really fun. So give that a chance and try that out.
Interesting.
Ooh. So our next one is from Titan Comics, and there was actually a couple I wanted to highlight from Titan. The first one is going to be Elric the Sleeping Sorceress. Elric is a very long legacy character that has a ton of great content, but also very known for being super spaced out and really hard to find. So I would, if you're even slightly interested, I would definitely suggest picking it up now, because these things often are few and far between. Several variants involved in this as well that I think are really cool. So I would pick them up and do your best at what you want for your personal collection.
Yeah, Elric has more often than not come out as, like hardcovers.
Giant hardcover pieces. Yeah.
And some of that is reprinting older material. So it is good to see it back in the standardized format that we've got here. That's a blast for that there. So, and several different variants. This is going to be a little bit of a different one here. The map variant. It's always fun when there's pieces that are lore kind of based into the universe, but it's done a little bit differently, and I kind of dig that about this kind of being a piece that fits in with the collection.
Agreed. Titan also has 2 comics that are actually looking into the future. It's our tiny segment called we'll talk about this next week as well. But Lenore Ghost Stories, their one-shot series, is going and has had foil variants the entire time. So this one is peeking out ahead of schedule to make sure it lands with its normal releases.
Mm-hmm.
And then Conan and Dragonero Hopefully I said that right, or Nam's going to yell at me.
I think you're there.
But they have a foil as well for a comic that will be coming out in the near future. This one might be a little further ahead depending on the dimensions of the comic book. So be on the lookout for those too. But if you're looking for the foil versions, now's the time to pick those up.
Yep.
Jumping back over to Vault Comics, we have a new #1 called Excommunicated. When a faithful nun and festering demon are each excommunicated from a church and hell because of botched exorcism, they must work together to uncover the sinister plot that endangers their lives and the world. Unique story, having to work together with your enemy. Indie comics really like and sell very well the nun trope, warrior, and things like that. So I think that this has some potential to be under the radar kind of a hit.
So #1 book that has had pre-orders coming in over the weekend. People are jumping on this in higher quantities than any of the other books that are out there. They did send out on Friday a small, half issue kind of preview to like get us as order people kind of familiar with it. It starts pretty simple with the nun coming in to assist on a exorcism that goes wrong. And of course, while going through the internal affairs kind of hearings and all this, everybody questions, why did you even show up, kind of thing? What are you doing? Well, you're out. We're blaming you for what went wrong on this. You're out on it. But of course, getting dragged back into the same type of demon hunting and things like that. So the interiors I saw on it and all this were well put together. Story moved at a good pace through the first half of what I read there. It seems to be set up very well for exactly that type of thing. If you're a fan of exorcism, this will fit in and feel very familiar territory.
There you go. Mad Cave Studios is our next publisher, and we are going to talk about Gotcha Man, which has been Mad Cave has absolutely done an earnest job about rebuilding the Gotcha Man universe and taking it very seriously and giving us one-shots and miniseries to kind of develop the world. To sit in, Steve Orlando, who's at the helm of this, will feature the character Red Impulse with a new #1. Again, I really think that if you're into Gotcha Man and if you've been picking them up, I'm just rehashing stuff you already know. If you're not aware of how good these series have been, I kind of equate it to the time where IDW really took charge and hold of the Power Ranger universe and really gave it weight and started selling comics, creating a new sort of comic book section just for these fans. So Red Pulse is coming out again because it's going to be niche. It's not something that's going to be readily available on our new release rack. Make sure you pick one up if you're interested.
Yeah, we typically will look at this and see how the other Gotcha Man sold and be stocking at about the same type of level there because we think it's got a known fan base for it. But if you have been looking for something that maybe you'd like to experiment on and see what a different storytelling is, this might be a good spot here.
Yeah, and that's a little bit behind the curtain, but it's a really good thing to know is like when we get to a Gotcha Man where we're doing one-shots of characters and stuff, it's going to be the previous sales that dictate how many we're bringing to this store. So if you're even interested, there's a potential we miss you because you didn't buy the last 3. So that person that keeps coming in and buying off the rack and they're like, oh, you've always had it. That's how you can miss out if you don't pick up one now because we're going to stick with that 3 regardless of who it goes to, if that makes sense.
Right.
Moving over to Ignition Press, we have, which Ignition, I've been loving Ignition. I praise them every week. Showdown is their new #1. It's going to be a real high-end drama about the weight of revenge and family lineage and holding on to burden and what that can do to you. The simple pitch is Gal blames another person about the death of her brother. She goes to exact her revenge many years later to find him kind of ready to die and totally cool with it. Like, go for it. And what that kind of does to the person, whether you're concerned by burden or vengeance, there is a weight regardless. And how do you remove that? Dave Wilgaz is the writer, and Tad Galusha being behind for your artist. So.
Ignition Press has stayed very focused on not a wide breadth of variants. You'll see on all their offerings, you typically will see a and a B cover kind of idea. And then some of them will end up getting like a 1 in 10 or something like that. But they're not trying to overload and trick you into buying a whole bunch of different variants. It is very much driven by the story.
Over at Keen Spot, I'm going to talk to the people that gave Pooh Bear Adventures a shot. This all ages comic, now working with the very free licensing of Winnie the Pooh, kind of staying focused on the core concept of Winnie the Pooh, being an all ages fun adventuring style book. This is going to be Piglet's Very Bad Day #1. I think it's going to be an easy pickup if you really enjoyed that series, or if you have kiddos at home and want something for them to read. This is perfect. Get your kids into comics. This is the way to do so.
Yeah, this is not dark mirror kind of ideas like where some of the other stuff comes up to open source kind of ideas here. There is a surprise blind bag with a trading card here.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Don't know 100% obviously what the cover is, because it's supposed to be a surprise, and having a trading card are two things that on the collectible side might have a couple more people chasing and care about with ordering there. So be aware of that.
Moving over to IDW, they kind of have a one shot, but it's also kind of issue #6 of our Godzilla versus America series. Texas is on deck. Good luck. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Godzilla is just as big and maybe even bigger. So it's going to be a Godzilla versus Texas one shot, $8. If you've been picking up the Godzilla versus America series, you've been tied to it through our CSA system. Portal people, check that out. Make sure you're tied to it if you want it. Outside of that, they have like one really cool variant and then just cool stuff all around.
Yep. Keeping it simple, keeping it straight to the point of the story.
Over at Bad Idea, we have a new Hank Howard Pizza Detective story. This Pizza Detective, I actually do really enjoy the writing style of Robert Venditti here and David Lapham. I think they're doing something very unique with the noir aspect and intensity of a man that focuses on pizza crimes. They have been expanding outside of the pizza shop since the original release of this, so it has gotten a little broader. But they have been focusing on 1 and 2 shop miniseries. This is a new one coming out, so pick it up if you are inclined. Again, there's a few different variants and all seem pretty interesting, and I think focused on like the history of pizza.
Yeah,
in a juvenile and fun way.
Very specific for these 3 variants here about turning around and focusing on, not modern takes.
Right.
So might be a clue as to what's going on with the story too.
Exactly. At Dynamite Entertainment, we have a giant-sized issue coming out called Savage Tales #1. There's basically everybody you love in Dynamite is going to be featured in this giant-sized, giant Savage Tales, including Red Sonja, Vampirella, Gaviria of Mars, these kind of characters. They do these often. I really am really cool with the Bjorn Barons cover. I think it will bring the typical people that enjoy this directly to them. And if you've been purchasing Red Sonja or Vampirella, you've actually already been tied to those My Portal users, so you don't have to worry about that.
Another blind bag. This is one of these double stuffed ones. This I believe is 2 copies that you get inside the blind bag, and can contain some exclusive to the blind bag. I'm sorry, it's 3 limited editions of the issue, and then some of the covers that are inside the blind bag are exclusive to the blind bag.
All right, moving on to Image Comics. Image has a new #1 that is also part of a series, G.I. Joe, The Real American Hero Silent Missions. As I've been talking about it, they are coming about weekly, and they are I believe this might be the final issue, if not the second to last issue of the silent issues for Cobra. This one's focused on Firefly. If you are getting them for the portal, you're getting it automatically. There's a few variants. I would check them out and make sure you don't miss out.
Yep, easy stuff there.
And then we move over to Mask 2026 #1. This is the newest addition into the Energon universe. This is also going to kick off the next phase. This is going to be big. I believe I'm going to tie people from Void Rivals to Mask. So if you're interested in the Energon universe, which is Transformers, the new G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals, and now we'll have Mask at the helm. So make sure to jump in, all of my fans of Kirkman's Energon universe. The thing that I will highlight here is that, yes, it was an old IP property that you really love, but Dan Waters is on the helm here, and he has been absolutely destroying everything he has. He's just one of the top writers in the industry right now, and starting him out on a series and something that's so kind of chaotic and built so crazy, I cannot stress how excited I am about this new issue.
Take your time to look through all these variants here.
There are a
lot going on. Favorites of like J. Scott Campbell, Mark Spears, and then a couple different variants that are from two different sides, the Mask or the Venom side, the enemies of Mask. That's where like both of these die cut covers come in and have both those pieces there. And then also the Tom Riley and Adriano Lucas is just the whole team up here of everybody kind of showing up for Mask there. So
showing you what the Energon universe is, kind of thing.
Yeah. So if you'd like to turn around and if that's the flavor for it, they have a color and a black and white on that. But look at all of them. This is a great time to pick out what your favorite will be for that. This is a very difficult book for us to order. We will have stock on it. We can't go too thin because this has the potential of being very, very big. This is being solicited early. I believe I put the date of when it's releasing in here. Yeah, it is actually due to come out June 3rd.
That's goodness. All right, yeah.
There's an extra month compared to when we would normally order things on this, but has partially to do with that they are expecting huge numbers on this. Several of the covers have extra treatments, whether it be foil, die cut, or anything like that. So they are making sure that they have plenty of time that all orders will be fulfilled for what we put in for that. That's great that nothing comes back allocated and everybody is unhappy that you didn't get what you were looking for. But it does, again, make it real tricky for us is to say, all right, there's a blind bag here. How many of those do we need? How many A's do we need? We might end up with quite a bit of, say, blind bag and #1s, but we might be a little bit thinner on some of the other covers there because just, it has a big potential for us to be sitting on way too much of it at the end of the week.
Yeah. And I will say, if knowing nothing, if there is a free comic book day, something from the Energon universe, I wouldn't put it past Kirkman to do something huge there that will lead into Masks, which is why it releases in June. So be on the lookout. The last one on Image Comics is Final Boss from Tyler Kirkham's world is getting a one-shot featuring the villain Mask Vigilante. If you're on Final Boss portal users, you're already on it. Outside of that, I would pick that up just for those that aren't part of our system, and I don't want you to miss out on a new issue coming out. Before we leave Image Comics, I did want to talk about I Hate Fairyland hitting issue number 50. This is a big deal, and they've been doing crossover covers all month long for this. So you'll see a ton of those in our filter system to bring up with the I Hate Fairyland or I Hate Team Ups. And then I Hate Fairyland number 50 also has a ton of variants that you need to kind of guide yourself through and make sure you pick up the right one.
Your crossovers available here are Feral 22, Final Boss Mask Vigilante, White Sky, and Wrestle Heist.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we come back to the main issue of check the right thing here of 50, you are just talking about murderer's row of variants here.
It's a lot of great people.
From everybody who's ever been involved with the book, Brett Bean, Scotty Young, Derek Loffman, they all have their variants, but then they decided to bring their friends. So Jim Mafood, Jonathan Wayshak, Jorge Corona, Mateo Scalera, Nicolette Baldari. There's a lot there, a lot of different versions, all of them showing off Gertrude in her best. So quite a bit to choose from with that. I know if you guys want to know which one's going to be more popular, the Scotty is always popular on this series because obviously the relationship there. And then we've even got there's going to be some ratio variants. We just don't know how many we're going to end up with yet and all this. There'll be a couple things out there when the weekly that comes out that you may want to add on to too. All
right. Next up, we're going to move over to Marvel with a couple big ones as well. We are running out of time already, so I'm going to quickly try to do this. The first one I'm going to talk about is Star Wars Rogue One is getting a Cassian Andor series, which is really dope. It's celebrating 10 years of Rogue One. This is going to take place before Rogue One, but it's an excellent book. I think there are two different types of Star Wars fans, and one of them really, really, really loves Rogue One. So those people will really want this. If you're on Star Wars, you're attached to this, but I wanted to highlight it because it's just a dope story. I think you will enjoy it. If you like that gritty, darker style of Star Wars storytelling, that's what you'll find in this one. And because the writer here is Benjamin Percy, who's been taking on the Punisher series.
Great variants here. A photo if you want to get some autographs later on in your life. The M. Geist is amazing here for tying into upcoming Mandalorian.
Another theme, Mando and Grogu.
Yep.
From there, we are going to go to Ultimate Impact Reborn. Those of you that have loved the Ultimate Universe, the good news is after its ending, there is some sort of like catalyst boost. I don't want to call it a reboot, and I don't think it's a retelling. It's basically a continuation of where we left off with the Ultimate Universe. It's kind of singular now. I'm trying not to give away too much for those that haven't read the ending or things like that. This is a little bit ahead of where we are at with the Ultimate series, but you can know that in the 616 universe, things will be continuing on, and it will impact the entire universe, or I guess avenues that could be considered ultimate. This is going to be a huge, huge book, maybe one of the bigger ones of the summer releases, and I think everyone that was reading any Ultimates will want to be make sure they pick this up.
I'm going to point out here that Stefano Caselli has 4 variants here. They are all actually called the character first appearance variants. 2 of them have been named to who the characters are. Wonder Man is obviously a name we know, but Hosticulus, we don't know anything about that. Maybe, and then some other covers here and all this. And while they're not naming stuff, man, is that Onslaught?
Yeah, kind of looks like it.
That could be interesting there. Probably not. We'll see, but definitely some pieces there. Those variants are going to be pretty important to the storytelling.
Next up, we're going to go to a new number 1 that's kind of a new number 1, not exactly. Astonishing Miles Morales Spider-Man, The Art of Thwip number 1 is actually an Infinity comic from 2025 that is coming to print to stores for the first time. It's a 6-issue series. All of them will be collected into this one book, so it's a nice one and done purchase for my Miles Morales fans.
Yep. Again, digital first. So if for whatever reason you've already seen it, you may have already read it. But many people do not follow the digital releases and do wait for them to come here into print first.
And then finally, Jubilee Deadly Reunion drops. They've been doing these X-Men focus books for a minute, and all of them have been very successful. Jubilee is right up there with any of the other baddies, and I think deserves this series. So I'm very excited for it. Gene Yang behind the series as well means it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, you're talking about good writing that's going to turn around and go along with a fun character. So definitely give this a once over on your consideration list.
All right, moving over to DC Comics.
Well, we're not done.
We are not. DC has a few number ones where we have first the DC Justice League Intergalactic Special. This is going to be a new chapter of the All In, where they're kind of explaining a few of the characters that might have been missing during a few of the special events that have been going on. Just kind of a, hey, this is where your person's at story. If you're part of Justice League, you're already on it. If you were enjoying any of these characters that are listed here, Dreamer, Green Arrow, Sapphire, I think you should probably jump in on this. Don't miss out. It will kind of tighten up a few of the loose ends in the storytelling. The other thing is a really unique number one release from Swamp Thing. It's 1989 number one. For those that don't know, because it was a while back, this is a story that was actually canceled. It got stopped because of some controversial aspects, and after a lot of time and some cooler heads and a whole new leadership team, we now will get the ending of Swamp Thing 1989. It's incredible. It's really the first time this, I believe, is I've seen this where they're like, let's just put it out. If that's something you're interested in, if you've been waiting, this is, I think, going to be excellent stuff.
The Zuli variant here is what it would have been as Swamp Thing 88. So again, put out to complete the end of that story arc that would have been.
Then we have Zatanna coming out in 2026 with a new number one. Zatanna's been doing these 5-part miniseries. Jamal Campbell is doing all the duties here, which is excellent because great writer and incredible artist. So stuff should be on time and very succinct. I think that if you're a Zatanna fan, you're going to enjoy it. All the covers are awesome. Good luck picking one.
We are not going to have time here to give you a rundown of all variants we would point out and all this, but there are 2 things here in DC you should absolutely make sure you look at.
I was literally going to jump on this next, Keith, so I'm glad you brought it up. You cannot miss this, guys.
DC Sonic the Hedgehog has all of them in a connecting cover reprint. This is going to be collectible. Trust me.
I can't even express to you how many people are going to want this, and we're going to have all stores are going to have a pain in the butt trying to order this. It's going to be massively collectible. And then even when we order it, what's going to happen is people are going to pick up 1 and 2s of like their favorites, and it's going to split up the connecting cover of this thing. So the connecting cover will be the thing that is really valuable. So if you are even slightly interested in Sonic or DC, the crossover, just for the covers alone, I think these are a must buy right now, especially in the era where you can just get whatever you want right now.
DCKO's also got a connecting cover. You can see it here, the Javier Fernandez here, plus another printing for all that. Missed anything, come and grab it now.
Last mention, Magic the Gathering on the cover theme has all the Magic the Gathering cards reprinted on the cover. Take a look at those. Like I said, there is a lot of stuff going on today. It's like small amount, so it's easier to get through and look at, but they are spread across everything. So if I were you, I'd just hit it page for page. You'll be done in 15 minutes and you'll see everything you need.
Orders due by tomorrow night at 6. Please put them in here. If you're a Hold Slot member, please use the portal, and we will turn around and be back with you on Tuesday when we want to talk about the books that are releasing for this week.
Exactly.
Thank you all. We'll see you again.